Stopped at the McDonald's on Cumberland Falls Highway in Corbin, Kentucky probably 15 times over the years. It sits right off US 27 between London and Williamsburg, one of those locations that exist specifically for people passing through at hours when nothing else is open. I knew it the way you know a place you've used without ever really seeing it. On autopilot. On instinct. On hunger at 2 a.m. on a dark Kentucky highway. It was a Friday in January. Driving back to Knoxville from my parents in Lexington. About 2 a.m. Bruce Springsteen on the stereo, Nebraska, which is not a cheerful choice for a late-night drive on an empty highway, but it was what felt right. I pulled off US 27 and swung into the drive-thru. Everything looked normal. Menu board lit up. Screen ready. I ordered a double bacon smokehouse burger, no pickles, extra sauce, large fries, large Sprite, no ice. The voice on the speaker was a young woman, professional, bored, late shift cadence. She read it back perfectly and told me to pull forward. The employee who slid the window open was maybe 20. Brown hair pulled back. Standard uniform. The moment she saw me, her face changed. Not surprise, not the mild irritation of someone interrupted at a slow moment, fear. Genuine, controlled, trying not to show it fear. The kind you see on someone who is being extremely careful not to react because they have calculated that reacting makes things worse. She held out her hand for my card. Her hand was steady. She would not look at me directly. She processed the card, handed it back, said my food would be a minute. Said it quietly, then she glanced, just once, half a second, at something behind her and to the left. Then she looked away fast and slid the window almost shut. I sat there. Springsteen still low on the stereo. Atlantic City now. I looked at the gap in the window. Through it I could see the counter, the kitchen beyond, 2 or 3 other employees moving around. Everything looked normal in there. Everything looked exactly like a McDonald's at 2 a.m. is supposed to look. I told myself she was just tired. Told myself the glance meant nothing. The window slid open and she leaned slightly forward and pressed the bag into my hands. She was looking at me now, directly, with the specific urgency of someone who has decided they have one moment to communicate something and this is it. Her lips were moving. She was mouthing words, deliberate and clear, the way you mouth something to someone across a noisy room when you need them to understand. I watched her lips and I could not make it out, not the right angle, not enough light, not a skill I had ever practiced. I almost asked her to repeat it. I had my mouth open to ask, and then a hand came from behind her, from the left, from the part of the kitchen I couldn't see, and reached past her shoulder and gripped the window frame and slid it shut. Not fast. Deliberately. The way you close a door when you want to be understood. The window was shut. She was gone from it. The interior of the restaurant behind the glass was just the normal interior of a McDonald's at 2 a.m. and I sat there in the drive-thru lane with the engine running and Springsteen playing and tried to decide what I had just seen. The car behind me pulled forward slightly. I pulled out of the lane and onto Cumberland Falls Highway and drove. A mile out I reached into the bag for a fry. My fingers touched paper. Not the waxy paper of the bag lining, something drier, flatter, folded. I pulled it out thinking it was a receipt. It was a McDonald's napkin, folded once into a square. I unfolded it with one hand while I drove. Smoothed it against my thigh. Looked down at it in the light from the dashboard. 3 words in blue pen, small careful letters, the handwriting of someone who was being very precise about it. Don't come back. I read it once. Read it again. Then I put it on the passenger seat and I drove. I did not turn around. I did not call anyone. I drove to Knoxville with that napkin on the seat beside me and the fries going cold in the bag and Springsteen moving through the dark Nebraska plains on the stereo, and I did not stop anywhere else that night. I Googled the location when I got home. The McDonald's on Cumberland Falls Highway in Corbin, Kentucky. The listing came up. Hours, reviews, photos. Completely normal. I checked the street view image. The building was there, the arches, the drive-through lane. The street view was dated 8 months before the night I had been there. I could not find anything more current. I told myself that meant nothing. Listings stay up, street view doesn't update constantly, and I went to sleep. In the morning the napkin was on my kitchen counter where I had left it. Don't come back. Still there. I picked up the jacket I had been wearing and hung it by the door. Then I stopped. I put my hand into the breast pocket, the inside pocket, the one against my chest, the one I had not reached into once during the entire drive. My fingers touched paper. Folded once. The same size. The same texture. I pulled it out and unfolded it and stood in my kitchen in the morning light and looked at it for a long time. It was blank. Completely blank. A McDonald's napkin with nothing on it, in a pocket I had not put it in, on a jacket that had been on my body the entire night. I have thought for 2 years about what she was mouthing through that window. I have replayed it more times than I can count, trying to pull meaning out of a memory that won't give it to me cleanly. Some nights I think it was a warning. Get out. Drive away. Don't take the bag. Some nights I think it was something worse. Something not about me at all but about her. Something like help me. Something like I can't leave. I don't know. I will never know with certainty, and that specific not knowing has a weight to it that does not get lighter with time. I don't take US 27 through Corbin anymore. Both napkins are in a drawer in my kitchen. I kept them because throwing them away felt like a decision I wasn't ready to make. The blank one bothers me more than the one with the words. The words told me something, even if I don't fully understand what. The blank one is just there. An empty page in a pocket I never opened. And I think about her almost every day. I hope she got out. That is the truest thing I can tell you. I hope to God she got out. My husband Marcus went to the bathroom at 3:22 a.m. inside the Waffle House on Mac Smith Road in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and did not come back. I want to be precise about that sentence because precision is the only thing I have left. He went to the bathroom at 3:22 a.m. I know the time because I checked my phone when he got up, the specific habit of a person with insomnia who tracks time without meaning to. He said be right back. He walked to the back of the restaurant. He went through the door marked restrooms. And he did not come back. We had been at a Nathaniel Rateliff concert in Atlanta and were driving home to Nashville. We stopped at the Waffle House on Mac Smith Road because we were hungry and because at 3 a.m. in Tennessee you stop at Waffle House. It is the only option and also the right option, the kind of reliable that feels like a promise. We took a booth near the middle. Marcus ordered the All-Star Special, eggs over medium, hash browns scattered covered and smothered, bacon, toast. I got the pecan waffle and the coffee. The cook, large man, shaved head, hadn't looked up when we came in, started on our food immediately. The place had 4 other customers. 2 men at the counter. A couple in the back booth who looked as road-worn as we were. A waitress named Tanya working the floor alone with the efficiency of someone who has done exactly this, at exactly this hour, more times than she can count. We ate and talked about the concert. Normal conversation. Full and tired and not unhappy about it. Marcus said be right back and got up and went to the bathroom at 3:22 a.m. and I finished my waffle and scrolled my phone and looked at I-24 in the dark through the window. At 3:31 a.m. I noted he had been gone 9 minutes. Long but not alarming. At 3:37 a.m. I put my phone face down. At 3:41 a.m. I got up and went to the back of the restaurant and knocked on the restroom's door and pushed it open and said his name. My voice came back off the tile walls of an empty room. 3 stalls, all open, all empty. A sink with the water still running, not dripping, running, like someone had turned it on and walked away mid-wash. I went to Tanya and said my husband had gone to the bathroom 20 minutes ago and wasn't there. She looked at me and then at the back of the restaurant. I asked if there was another exit back there. She said just the bathroom, hallway and the kitchen. She checked with the cook quietly. He looked up at me for the first time, a long, flat look that moved from my face to the back of the restaurant and back to my face, and said something to her I couldn't hear. She told me he hadn't seen anyone come through. I called Marcus's phone. It rang once through the speaker at my ear and then, underneath that, muffled, from somewhere inside the building behind me, I heard it ringing in the physical world. Not outside. Not in the parking lot. Inside the restaurant. I walked toward the sound with my phone still at my ear and it led me to the pass-through window of the kitchen and I looked through it and I could see the grill, the prep counter, the shelves. Marcus's brown Carhartt jacket was on the kitchen floor. just lying there on the tiles like it had been dropped mid-step. His phone was on the prep counter, screen cracked, lit up with my incoming call, ringing in an empty kitchen. I told Tanya that my husband's jacket and his phone were both in the kitchen and I needed someone to open it right now. The cook came out from behind the counter. He was very large. He placed himself in front of the kitchen door the way a person places themselves in front of something when their entire intention is to be between you and it. Weight forward. Shoulders set. Deliberate. The gentleness of his voice when he said the kitchen was staff only was somehow the worst part of all of it. I said my husband was in there. He said no one was in the kitchen who wasn't staff. My call went to voicemail. In the silence after Marcus's phone stopped ringing, I heard something from behind the kitchen door. One sound. Brief and specific, the compression of a shoe sole on a hard floor, the soft creak of a joint taking weight, the sound of a person shifting their position in a small space. I have heard Marcus move in the dark beside me for 11 years. I knew the particular weight of him redistributing. I stood in that Waffle House at 3:49 a.m. and I heard my husband breathing on the other side of a locked door and I could not get to him and I could not make a sound come out of my own mouth for what felt like a very long time. Then the cook reached behind him without breaking eye contact and the deadbolt engaged. One clean, deliberate click. I ran outside. Called 911 from the parking lot on Max Smith Road and told the dispatcher everything in the order it happened. 2 Chattanooga PD units arrived in 6 minutes. I watched through the window as they spoke to Tanya and spoke to the cook who opened the kitchen door without resistance when they asked and stepped aside with his arms at his sides and his face completely empty. The officers were in the kitchen for 4 minutes. One came out and told me the kitchen was empty. Back door open. Alley clear. Marcus's jacket on the floor. His phone on the counter. My husband was not there. His car was still in the parking lot. They searched the surrounding blocks. The alley. Max Smith Road in both directions. Nothing. Marcus was placed on a missing persons report before sunrise. The case is technically still open. The cook was interviewed twice and released both times. He said he had not seen Marcus. He said this with the same empty face both times and both times he walked out and I watched him go and there was nothing I could do. That was 19 months ago. For months after Marcus disappeared I changed my phone number and gave it to fewer than 20 people. 6 months after he disappeared I was sitting in my kitchen in Nashville at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday when my new number received a text from Marcus's number. His number that had been disconnected for months. His number that the carrier had confirmed no longer existed. The text was a photograph. The interior of a diner I did not recognize, a booth, a table, 2 place settings, 2 coffee mugs. Both mugs steaming. The seat across from the camera was empty, but the vinyl of that seat had the specific compression of something that had been sat in for a long time. A presence that had recently been there, or was about to be. I have sent that number 63 texts. Called it 112 times. Nothing connects. Nothing goes through. Except for that one night when it did. Except for the one photo of 2 steaming cups of coffee in a booth in a diner I cannot find, sent from a number that does not exist, at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday when I was sitting alone in my kitchen 19 months after my husband said be right back. 2 cups. Both steaming. I think about that every day. Whoever was there had set a place for 2. Was expecting someone, or waiting for someone, or telling me something about where Marcus is and what it looks like and that there is a seat across from him that has not been filled yet. I don't know which one it is. I don't know if knowing would help. What I know is that the coffee was hot. Which means wherever that place is, whatever it is, whatever the rules are there, it was warm. It was lit. Someone was in it who knew my number and wanted me to see inside. 2 cups. 1 empty seat. And somewhere on a road I cannot find, at an hour I cannot name, a seat across a table that is still waiting. I hope it's just waiting. I tell myself that every night. I hope that's all it is. If something happened to you, on a road, in a diner, at a window at 2 a.m., and you have never said it out loud because you don't know how without sounding like someone who imagined it, send it to mrgravestone.shadow@gmail.com. We read every one. We believe you. New stories every week on Mr. Gravestone. Subscribe. Turn on notifications. And tonight, if you're out late and you see a light on that shouldn't be on, just keep driving. whatever you do. Just keep driving.